Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to an episode, the first Red Alert of the season. It genuinely feels like a million years since we've done this, and the last time was wielding towards the title. This time, well, there's a million and one things to discuss on and off the pitch, and Mark is busy sorting out his property empire somewhere or just counting his cash or something like that, but Jamesy's still with us. How are we, Jamesy?
I'm good, Dave. Really looking forward to the season.
Mate, genuinely, there is a million and one things to be excited about. Although, we've got to be honest, there's still business to do. There's still things we want to happen. But we will get into that, people. We'll be talking the signings so far. We'll be talking fixtures in August. Still crazy to say. There's only 16, 17 days left in this month, but there's 3 fixtures to go. And the big questions so far, of course, we'll be talking Alexander Isak and other bits as well. But, Jamesy, let's get into this straight away. I mean, the signings so far, and it's important I phrase it that way, the signings so far, there's been some special ones, and people look at the big one on the screen there, Florian Wirtz. Brilliant move, an absolute coup to beat off your Bayern Munichs, your Cities, all the rest. Like, that is absolutely an elite signing. Everyone's happy with that. You get Kerkez in. That's great. We need a left back. We knew the problems there. Frimpong, we'll just pretend there was some guy there we didn't know at right back. He's come and replaced, so we've got cover there. Your fellow countryman does seem to be made of cheese strings a little bit as well, so he might come in very useful in that right back position. Ekitike comes in. Bangs, doesn't he, at the weekend? Fingers crossed he keeps that up on Friday night as well. And there's a few others come into the mix as well. So it has just been, it feels like, and I want to use these words carefully, doesn't it? Really good, but so far. Is that a fair analysis for you?
Yes. Yeah. That's really good with so far, but it's been phenomenal. I mean, if anyone said that we were going to get Florian Wirtz, it was just when it broke, you were like, this isn't going to happen. He's going to go to City, he's going to go to Bournemouth. And then all of a sudden, we have Florian Wirtz. And Dave, if you think about it, right, we don't really have that 10. We don't have that dribble and that creativity, that flair. He picks a pass. He's only 22, right? He's already played 228 games. He's scored 64 and he's assisted 69 at 22 years of age. It's pretty phenomenal. And again, it's something that we needed is a 10. We don't have that creative edge. We could talk about Szoboszlai, but he doesn't really give us that kind of cutting edge when it comes to the creativity.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and this isn't to be derogatory over Dominic Szoboszlai. I think he was brilliant at times for us last season. He didn't seem to be the whipping boy, weirdly. He's so important with it. His runs, his pressing, everything that goes into the mix. But, yeah, Florian Wirtz just feels like... Is there a danger a little bit? Because talking about the standout players of what we've seen so far, Florian Wirtz grabs the headline, a package that could be £160 million. Is it just lazy to say he is the standout signing so far? Or based on what you've seen, is that just, no, it just is that simple as that?
No, absolutely not. I think that Liverpool have been very, very smart when it comes to the business. Like, let's talk about Kerkez, okay? So Kerkez played 38 games last season, okay? And the only reason he didn't play the rest was a couple of send-offs and he was rested. So it shows you the versatility. Kerkez, he scored 2 goals, 5 assists compared to Andy Robertson. Robertson's balanced, okay? But again, he's getting old. He's going to be a Marshall at it. And unfortunately, we love him, but it's coming to an end. And we need that kind of dynamic back again off that left. And I think Kerkez is an absolute speed demon.
Yeah, I am intrigued because the man on the screen there, Ekitike, I mean, we'll talk about other players that are coming in. So people wondered where he'd fit in. Is he first choice? Would he move to left? All those types of things. But he was so exciting to watch in the Community Shield. his pace, his directness, his power. So that's exciting. Kerkez was an interesting one, like you say, because he was almost deeper in the Community Shield alongside Virgil van Dijk. I think, like you, a lot of us expect him to be the speed demon that bombed on all the time, but we only saw it literally once or twice at the weekend. So I am fascinated to see how it will go against Bournemouth, especially. But all of the signings so far, he didn't mean it. He clearly didn't mean it, but Frimpong gets a goal as well. And he's looked quite tidy from a little bit that we've seen as well. I suppose this is the thing about it, James. We've used that phrase now so far a lot already in a short period. You scan over this Premier League squad like me, and there is real talent across the board. Like, there really is so many top quality players. Where are we still short, though?
As it stands, and not the big, elephant in the room of the big eye. Obviously, it's the number 9 is a big, and also centre back as well. I know that Leoni's came in, but again, you have to understand that he's a kid. It's a breakout season. Played for Parma. He didn't have that kind of progressive kind of movement. He's very defending a lot. You can't just throw him in. I do think that Konate, either is he going to go or is he going to stay? And I think Guehi needs to come in if he can. And I think that would really settle when it comes to the centre back. And when it comes to, I would say that's probably where we need to strengthen. And then we're there. We've got versatility through the whole squad. And we talked about last season where you specifically had, if you had a defender, centre back, it was always one position for each position, if that makes sense. So it's always two players. Now it's a little bit different. There was times last season where effectively we just run out of ideas because we didn't have the personnel. And I think now that we've went in, and now we've got the personnel to kind of really challenge on all fronts.
I agree. It's interesting. He said the other day, literally in one of his, it might have been literally, no, it wasn't today. Sorry, it was last week. In his options that were so different, as in we've got more options than last season. It's just the balance now of getting it right at the same time, because naturally in that Palace game, we looked exposed. I mean, you mentioned Konate there, and this is one I did want to ask you. Even if, and we'll touch on a little more, Guehi and Leoni come in, is there not a danger for you of, if you look at the title-winning side last season and Konate goes, you'd be saying, okay, the keeper and the centre-back are the same, but the left-back's different, the right-back's different, one of the centre-backs is different. No title-winning team tends to change 3 out of 5 positions and keeps that consistency, surely. Do you not think it'll be a case of, even if we get the centre-back recruitments, they'll still keep Konate and try all the way till the end of his contract?
100%. I mean, you have to. You don't want to be upsetting the apple cart too much. I think Konate is a massive integral piece. But if he doesn't want to pay for Liverpool, then if he's going to run down his contract, that's fine. We've got a decision to sell him in January if that's something that's going to come up. And then we have to go from there. But we want to try and keep that cohesive, because Van Dijk and Konate were so good at the back last year, colossal. Konate had an absolutely fantastic season. If you remember, he got injured, and that was Endrick, and again against Real Madrid. And it was silly too. It was just kind of backed into him, and it was a bit of a kind of tangle of the legs, and that was it. But he had a fantastic season. And again, if we can get another 3, 4, even 5 months out of him before he goes to wherever he's going to go, then that's football, Dave. If he doesn't want to play for us, then we just have to replace him and move on.
It is crazy. It is insane that even as we're talking about it now, in the best possible way, how much Liverpool has spent so far in the summer and the quality reinforcements that come in. And yet, as we're both sitting here, we're both talking about multiple players, aren't we? Still needed centre-back, still needed at least one other attacker, which we'll get to, but it sets the scene nicely for it. And a few comments there. John Mycester saying Kerkez was out of position so many times in the game against Palace. I mean, I'll keep this one brief. The left side against Palace, Kerkez seemed tucked in, and Gakpo was almost covering at left back, wasn't he? It all just seemed a little bit disjointed, the left side especially. System issues, teething problems, players getting things wrong. What did you make of that on Sunday?
I mean, maybe people are going to disagree, but I look at it as a glorified friendly. Van Dijk already came out and he says that he wasn't completely fit. So what's the point of really showing the blood and the gust when actually you've got Bournemouth? So it's very much like getting the shape, ironing out the kinks and then going again. You know, we can have this discussion in against Bournemouth and we'll really understand exactly how Liverpool play. Again, you know, the friendlies just get an idea about the shape, get an idea about the players. But again, I'm taking the Charity Shield as a friendly because the second half, it was so disjointed, Dave. You know, there was no flow to the play and stuff like that. So that's why I'm saying, look, it's a glorified friendly. You can't take much from it.
You can't, to be fair. You're right. Honest Lot talked about it as well. And you know the focus was there in adjusting it. And he said, which is a great line today, 10 out of 10 for what I've seen for attacking. But at the moment, 8 out of 10 on the defensive sides. But we're aiming for 10 out of 10. So you know it's been the focus for this week as well. We're going to have to wait till tomorrow to find that out, which is exciting. But as we always do on Red Alert, Jamesy, we talk about fixtures. We make predictions. Usually Mark tends to look very stupid, but he's not with us, unfortunately. So we'll see how we get on with this one. I mean, just on the surface, only 3, but 3 big ones, because the season opener Friday night, Jamesy. Then the Isak derby, Monday the 25th of August at St. James's, followed by second again, Sunday, the 31st of August. I mean, they are exciting, tasty fixtures, aren't they? For just a few left in this month.
We need to win them. I think that, you know, this Premier League season is going to be very competitive. And I think that getting 3 out of 3, especially home to Bournemouth, you just show how the Reds play. When we go to Newcastle, I think it's fans that are really going to be like baying for blood. I think that's going to be a real tasty one. But again, I think it's going to be close. I do think that we're going to nick it again. And then from there, the real kind of stamp is going to be the Arsenal game. That's going to really give us an understanding of their credentials because they look like a good team this year. They have signed Subamendi and Kerkez, so they've kind of plugged the weaknesses, and that will give us a good understanding of where we are when this comes to the kind of title and where we are in relation to systems and how the players are playing together.
Is it such an interesting one? Because if you actually reverse or replayed these fixtures last season, we only actually got 5 points from the first 3 if it was to repeat the same scores, because we beat Bournemouth at home early doors. People forget that. Do you remember that 3-3 against Newcastle where Kelleher makes the big error at the last minute and they slide in to equalise? And then, to be fair, the Arsenal game was when the title was won, so it didn't really matter. But, you know, it was still a draw. We always seem to draw quite a lot in recent times against Arsenal at home. But I think you're right. It's maybe this is being blasé, touch wood, it's not. I think the first game, the champions, under the lights, everything around that, the focus, takes care of itself a little bit. That one, that could just be Newcastle fans, like you say, baying for blood, all the focus in the wrong place, whereas, you know, they won't have a striker that we'd be terrified of or conscious of playing against last season. This one, this is it. I agree with you for this one. This is the game that stands out for me more than any, because no one really knows what Arsenal are like exactly, where they are. Their fans are having their normal meltdowns about, you know, signings, what we're doing, other teams are doing. Of course they do. We all know our AFTV roles and all those types of things. But is it that one? Is it the Arsenal game, or is it the Isak derby that you think you're most excited for seeing?
No, I think Liverpool against Arsenal, because you're effectively looking at a run-in between, you know, first and second, and hopefully it's neck and neck and it's exciting. And you know, obviously we win the title, but we want to have that competitiveness. We want to see it. I would say Liverpool against Arsenal, hands down.
Interesting. A man there saying game against Newcastle looks more tense than United or Arsenal because of Isak transfer saga. See, I kind of think that a little bit like you say, but yeah, it's to tell you what, it's a juicy opening month. It is not the slower introduction, was it, that Slot got last year? But we're saying that Nottingham Forest was in the first month of the season as well, wasn't it, last year at home? So that goes into the mix as well. Right, James, he's not here. Game by game, score predictions, 3 to put up.
Liverpool, Bournemouth, I'm going to go 3-0. I think it's going to be a good, comprehensive display. I think Salah's going to open up the score.
Do you know what? I actually said on post-conference presser earlier, I think Salah will score on this because a lot of people have taken a lot of shots at the King after that, like you said, friendly at Wembley on Sunday about it. Like, he will be fired up for this. And we know how Salah starts the season. I actually went 3-1, which funnily enough is exactly what Stephen Dew has gone there. I just think at the moment, the attack looks good. We're ironing out them kinks in defence, aren't we? So 3-1 for me is what I'm going. But we will take either of those a win. Jamesy, the Isak derby, Monday the 25th of August.
Oh, okay. So I think Newcastle will score first, okay? And I think they'll come back and it'll be 2-1. I think they'll lose their head. I think it's just too much. Yeah. So I think 2-1 to Liverpool.
I actually thought 2-1 as well, because again, but we're not keeping clean sheets. I don't know if they'll score first, but just their fans will be, like you said, baying for blood, and it will be a bit of a cauldron to play there. Obviously, Isak's not going to be in either squad, of course, is he? Just to be clear. But yeah, I'm fancying 2-1 there. This is the one I'm least confident in, Jamesy. Arsenal, Sunday the 31st of August, our first Super Sunday as well. What are you reckoning?
It's a tough one, Dave. I think the first 15 minutes can tell you a lot about a game, and it depends how much Liverpool and also how Anfield's up for it. I mean, they really need to make that like a cauldron. That's the thing. Again, Arsenal, we know the quality of Arsenal, so I would say 2-1 Liverpool. It'll be 1 each, and then Liverpool will score. So it'll be 2-1.
I hate myself for saying this, and probably people are going to be booing if they are watching it or listening. I want obviously a win, and my heart is saying like a 1-0, a 2-1, something like that. But just thinking about the way it's gone with Arsenal at Anfield, we haven't beaten them for a while. There was the one where, do you remember Odegaard basketball dribbled it and we didn't get the penalty, which we should have. Yeah. Last season, we kind of just stopped playing because we won the title a little bit. But yeah, I'm agreeing with my colleague, Mr. Game, in that. I just get the feeling it's going to be 1-1 in that game. I could be wrong. I am desperate to be wrong. But yeah, 1-1. Jamesy, you stated those pretty bullishly. 9 out of 9 for you this first month.
Yeah. I think the reason being is because there's going to be a lot of pressure on. We've got Wirtz that's more or less a club record. We have talks with Isak that's coming through, with Kerkez, Frimpong, all big signings, all the kind of last season, there wasn't that kind of expectation. It's all eyes on Liverpool, and we just have to think about City, Chelsea and Arsenal, and we have to hit 3. And I think that's what Slot will say. And I think that a good measurement is that we should win most or all our games at home. And I think that's what he'll have drilled into the players.
Fingers crossed. I hope my little sneaker there for the draw is incorrect. Time will tell on that one. It's a shame because Mark usually gets everything wrong in the first month, but we'll see when we chat to him tomorrow what he comes up with. This bit though, Jamesy, this is almost, it's weird, as you'll know. The football's great to be back. It's absolutely buzzing for the game tomorrow night. And yet, it's the stuff off the field, isn't it, in that regard, that's dominating talk at the moment. And people, unless you've been living under a rock, this saga, and we can call it a saga, has gone on forever and ever and ever. And even today, Geordie journalists confirm it. And there's the tweet from Fabrizio Romano. Isak plans remain clear. No intention to be part of the squad against Villa. same against Liverpool next week. Isak keeps rejecting new dealers' approaches as his clear desire remains to join Liverpool. And I mean, with this, as the Geordie journalist and a few others said today, he's on strike. That's what it is. The guy's refusing to play, refusing to train. He couldn't make it clearer. I am not prepared to play for you anymore, even if you don't sell me to Liverpool, although clearly that's where I want to go to as well. James, I mean, we're all waiting for this, and it does seem it's dragged on like 84,000 years. Is there a bit for you? Because I know, obviously, you do all your sports science stuff, that when is Isak going to arrive? And if he does, which we expect he does, when is he going to play? It's going to be a fair while before he gets up to speed, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think we talked about this before the season, like we were talking about the transfer, like if they're going to go for Isak, it's not going to be a saga, and it's turned into a saga. It's turned into another Thiago where, he hasn't had a pre-season. He's not potentially going to be fit. It depends on what he's been doing with his other conditioning, but he's not match fitness either. Match fitness is different to kind of just, strength and conditioning. So the challenge that you're going to have is you wouldn't want to just throw him in and then he ends up injured, because again, he can be a little bit injury prone. We've seen that as well through his career. So it depends. Again, we've got the best kind of strength and conditioning and out there, so they will have a plan for him. I can't give you a definite from there. But I do think that Newcastle are going to make it extremely hard, and it's going to drag on till the end of the actual transfer window. I think it's just because it's such a humbling for them that you're taking their star man. You're basically just ripping that out, their centre forward, and we're getting him. So they're going to make it as difficult as possible. Even if they give Visa, even if they get Ramsey, I think they'll make it difficult as well. And I think there's a lot more negotiations.
It is funny, and I think of a player that you mentioned there. I mean, Jennifer's commented, isn't Vista doing the same to Brentford, but Isak gets all the flack? Well, Vista seems to be on strike, like you said, at Brentford, doing the same. Keith Andrews, their boss, has come out tonight and said, I've made a decision. He's not in the squad. He's training separate. I think everyone's knows where he's going to end up. We're all just waiting for developments. You think Victor Gyökeres, he went on strike, didn't he? Said he had a gentleman's agreement with Sporting. They reneged on that. Are you in the camp of, for Isak and this going on strike and what he's doing, this is just expected what he has to do? Or do you actually have any sympathy with the Geordie fans?
It depends on the verbal agreement that he had at the end of the season, because there's a lot of rumours come out and saying, look, I absolutely love the club, but I want to move on. I want to challenge myself. And if that's what's kind of transpired, then again, I don't blame Isak at all. It's hard for Newcastle because technically they're the most powerful and the richest club in the world. They can buy anyone supposedly, but the draw of Newcastle, you only need to go back 5 years ago when they were playing in Championship. So it's just that, they are a big team within Newcastle, but not the rest of the world, right? And Isak he's getting to the point where he's world class. So why wouldn't he want to win the Champions League and the Premier League, and actually even have a nomination for the Ballon d'Or as well, and have that kind of the trophy cabinet? Like, I don't blame him, but again, it just depends on the verbal agreement. Also as well is Eddie Howe. I think he's a good manager, but again, I don't think he's world class. I don't think that if Newcastle are looking at this project of being the biggest and the best and the most expensive club, I don't think Eddie Howe has that kind of draw to get in the actual players that's going to make them, challenging for the actual Premier League.
It is so weird to me that the Newcastle, obviously Saudi owned, or all that, but people know the details. If you look at the way the Saudis have approached other sports, like, as we know, we both like boxing. They've just taken that over, haven't they? They've just bought it and taken it over to a different level. You could name other sports when they've done the same, that where usually they don't care about upsetting the apple cart, because they'll buy the apple cart to start with, and like everyone will, just fall into line. For football in the Premier League, it does seem so different in the sense of they don't want to upset the apple cart. I just thought they'd start to come in, spend millions and millions, and people would go, oh, like City will end up with a fine, and they'll go, cool, we'll pay it in 10s and 20s. You know, we don't care really. Like, I did think that's what they would do, but they don't seem to be doing it. I think that maybe forms part of it. But yeah, Isak, people, when he's going to come, I think we do both think he will come. It's a when, not if. But there's a question mark on this. And I suppose the second big question, Jamesy, Arne Slot's on the screen there. Let me just give you a comment he made to Sky Sports today. I see Hugo Ekitike as a 9 that could also play from the left or together with another 9. We need to have one more attacker at least. That was the statement, you know, the words taking it from his Sky Sports interview earlier today. So with that in mind, and say Alexander Isak does get added to that list there with Salah, Chiesa, Gakpo, Ekitike, Doak and Gamoa, we could obviously debate of who will still be there at the end of the window. Is just Isak enough, or do you need more?
It's a great question, isn't it? Because you've got Isak, that's very much going to be a centre forward. That's kind of the main man. Then you've got Ekitike that can play in the left. He can also play centre forward. But then you've also got Gakpo, very much left. We tried him in attacking midfield. Doesn't really work as well. You've Wirtz. He can also play on the left, but again, he works better with that 10 kind of position. Then you've got the right side, and you have the emergence of Rio. And again, you've got Rio and you've got Chiesa. And, you know, we have a song for Chiesa, and I just want him to do so well, you know, just kind of. So if he does stay, I would love to see him get minutes. But I think we've had a conversation. We're not 100% sure that Slot fancies him. And I think that's what it really comes down to. When we get put out in the FA Cup, he was supposed to be the main man, and he was atrocious, if you remember that. Yeah. It's a hard one, Dave. It really is a hard one. Like, more about the versatility. Like, obviously we've lost Diaz, and we've lost Nunez as well, but we've gained Ekitike and actually Isak, and then again Gakpo, Chiesa. No, I'm going to say I think we're okay. I just had to kind of sort of the process of elimination there. I think we're okay in attack. If we can get Isak, I think we have enough in attack. If Chiesa goes, then obviously it's another conversation. And also, sorry, because we also have on the right, we also have Frimpong as well can do a job. So we know that he can play. Slots came out and he said that he can replace Salah as well. Frimpong's numbers are frightening when it comes to goals and assists, and we know how quick he is. So, you know, an absolute headache for an actual defender. You know, you have Bradley fit. You've got Frimpong playing where Mo is, and then effectively you've got Bradley as well supporting him and right back. So all is shiny.
I'm swithering a little bit on this because I get you. I get what you're saying. Is when I look at this collection of forwards down the list, I'm thinking of, as we saw last season, Arne Slot fancies players or he doesn't. And it wouldn't matter when the midfield was on its arse last season. Other players wouldn't come in, would they? Like Harvey Elliott. And he just wouldn't use them because he didn't fancy them unless it was a Carabao Cup. But any big game wasn't happening. And I looked down this list, Jamesy, and straight away, like the second one down, Federico Chiesa, clearly doesn't fancy him at all. In fact, Lewis Steele said today there's still the expectation he will probably move very late in the window. Italy still suspected, but it just seems to be playing out. But long story short, Slot doesn't fancy him. So I almost delete him in the best possible way. Ben Doak, 20 million seems to be able to get it done. The World and his wife have made an inquiry for Ben Doak, haven't they? All these clubs, you know, someone just needs to stump up and do that. Rio and Gamoa. I think the kid looks special. We're hearing he's special, all these different bits. And I still think he will play some minutes more than people think, but it is just huge pressure to put on the kid. So when you delete them out the lineup, that only leaves you with 3 senior forwards, doesn't it? And then Isak comes in to make a 4th senior forward. Wirtz, as you said, seems to be settled as a 10, even if he does push him there. I do think if Doak and Chiesa go, which I think most expect them to, it depends if Liverpool can do the deal. I think it will be Isak on one more. And I know you kind of mentioned this, so just brass tacks, Doak and Chiesa go. Do you think it then is Isak on one more?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Because exactly what you're saying is you can't depend on Rio. That's not fair. And a 16 and a half-year-old kid to kind of have that kind of responsibility. So I think what you're saying, I'm going to agree with that. Yeah. But the only stipulation is if Chiesa and Doak go.
Yeah, because you can't... honestly, we'll know how it works. You can't be keeping two wingers you don't want, and then it looks, the way we work as an operation and bringing others in. Mr. 365 boy saying there, I think we're light on the right. Bradley gets too many injuries, so Frimpong would have to stay fullback. And when Salah goes, who we've got. I mean, it is 6 games for AFCON. I did want to ask you, because he is your countryman, Conor Bradley. I know he's a player you've always loved. I like Conor Bradley and watching him. The legs seem to be made of cheese strings a little bit, though, don't they?
Yeah, but it's just because of the way he plays with that kind of full-blooded. So it's the tackles and the challenges, and that's it. It's a lot of impact challenges. He just 100% always leaves it in. There's no kind of like Szoboszlai. He's very neat and tidy player, while Conor Bradley's very much like, I'm going to get this job done. So I guess sometimes he's a little bit unlucky. He gets a lot of challenges, and then it's just an accumulation effect over the next couple of games, and then he just ends up, as you're saying, like cheese strings. I like that.
Yeah. I think everyone would love Conor Bradley to get like a run of 10 games, or just when he's fit for 10 games in a row that way as well. So yeah, we will see. Everyone's piling the thoughts in. Taylor Stewart wants Fofana, Malik Fofana, that'll be from Leon. Yeah, people talking about Doak, other options. I tell you what, there's a lot of business still to happen in that forward line. Both ways, I think we will have to see with 16 days left. But to finish, Jamesy, we talked about defence and you mentioned it. Giovanni Leoni, we got the here we go last night, didn't we? In fact, 26 million quid for 6'5", 18 years old. He doesn't half look a unit, by the way. He's in Liverpool right now. We know he might have completed his medical for all we know. They could be doing the footage of the release video, etc. Expecting it to be announced, confirmed probably at some point tomorrow. I mean, just first of all with this, Leoni, excited for this one?
Absolutely. 100%, yeah. An 18-year-old, like, kind of Italian centre back that's been talked about, like, the next Bastoni. He's like Baresi. He's maybe not the quickest, but the way that he can kind of cover ground and the way he can kind of position himself as well, fantastic. We also have to remember as well, like, 18-year-old, he's still a kid. Yeah. Like, no matter whatever way you want to say, he's still a kid, and he's growing into his body. But how he bullied Lukaku and how he bullied Vanovic off the ball last year, like, just watching a couple of them clips, like, they're big, heavy lads, and it's how he puts it's how the upper body and the physicality of how he can put his body in the way, and then he can carry the ball up. The good thing about it as well is that it seems that if he's in our system, the progressive passes, it doesn't mind. He's going to kind of just carry the ball forward. He's a presence. Like, when you think about Kwanzaa, I never thought Kwanzaa was like a proper presence, like a real, like, kind of steely defender with a real intelligence. Kwanzaa always had a mistake in him, and we always said, like, it's just him, like, kind of his craft and so on and so forth. While Leoni, yes, he'll make mistakes, but he'll learn so quickly from them. And if he has VVD as a steward there, I think we're on to an absolute fantastic centre back. I really do.
I am excited. I am really excited from, as you said, everything we've heard. Arrigo Sacchi, for God's sake, described him as the future of the Azzurri defence. All the footage, the different... It's all so exciting. And Liverpool have been after this type of centre-half for ages. Like we were talking about Lenny Yoro last season, weren't we, at different points? Huijsen, so they're getting this young centre-back, the next starlet. I don't want to say VVD replacement because that is just too much pressure on the kid for a start. But for Leoni arriving, we've talked about this. Everyone knows what's going on. Mark Guehi, we're in talks with Crystal Palace, aren't we? We're trying to get that deal. It's about what will Liverpool pay? Will Palace budge on their price? There's even talks about, will Guehi come? Will he finish this World Cup year at Palace if he plays week in, week out? Will he get game time at Liverpool? All these things are just in the hopper at the moment. This is going to sound negative, but it's just an honest question. Leoni enough alone, or Leoni and Guehi to be a good summer for you?
Leoni and Guehi. I mean, you think about the two centre backs we have at the moment, VVD and Konate, and then you usually have Gomez, you have Gravenberch, and you have effectively Endo that can play centre back. Gomez is not. He's injury prone. We've seen that. He hasn't had a pre-season again. So again, this is a challenge that we have. We're always chasing the tail. So again, with Leoni and with Guehi, especially when it comes to cups and kind of the Carabao and the FA Cups and those kind of wee rounds that effectively we can sort of rest Konate and VVD and kind of just sort of push on from there. I think we need 4 centre backs. I really do, Dave.
Yeah, and I do feel exactly the same about that one. It is Guehi is for now, and if you're going to compete on all fronts, and we need to win now because VVD, Ali, Salah, these are legends, but they're all aging at the same time. You need players for now. That's not to be dismissive of Leoni, but you would almost want this season to be one of, I suppose you'd call it integration, development, getting used to the English game, how it works, managing his minutes carefully, and doing it that way. And I mean, yeah, Mr. 365 boy saying that has Guehi got the balls to fight for his place. It'd be interesting to see if more comes out around this, or is he waiting for Konate to leave to be guaranteed a starting position? Well, we've said we can't afford to let Konate go this season. There's too many prizes, too many pots. The final big question, Jamesy, for this show. We've talked Isak, we talked Guehi, we know Leoni's coming, we've talked all these bits, forwards, who might go. It all really comes down to, people are never too excited about leavers. That's just always part of the transfer flavour. It's who's arriving. How many players before this window shuts in 16 days and what position, Jamesy?
So who leaves?
Leaves. Just give me who's coming. No one... Ultimately, it's the arrivals that are the sexiest, aren't
they? Okay. So Isak, and then the permutation of FKs and Elliott leaves. I think that we go for Fofana. I think that again, it's that natural raw talent, and again, sculpting that into a slot machine would be really exciting as well. And learn from the best, obviously Salah. So that would be something that I would kind of go for. And then centre back, Guehi. Definitely, I think he's gonna come in as well. Weirdly, so we've got 3.
Weirdly, considering that, and we're already counting Leoni as arrived people before you say, because he's doing his medical. We've got to add him to the list almost already. Touch wood. I think you're right. I still think it's 3. I still think that Guehi arrives, Liverpool will not pass up this responsive opportunity, and they're calling it a market opportunity. Yes, they'll have a price they want to pay, but they'll know if they want him in the big prizes this season, he could be a really key, crucial ingredient. Like you said, Isak's going to be one. And I do think Chiesa and Doak and Elliott will depart, and that will bring another into the mix, which also, this is a bit worrying me that I'm agreeing with you so much, but I do think someone like Malik Fofana and some player like that will come in, which, 3 arrivals on top of Leoni. Let's finish it there, James, on one question. Leoni, Guehi, Isak, and Fofana come in. What would you score that window out of 10?
I think that's the best window that I can ever imagine. So let's say 11 out of 10. That's kind of where I'm going with that, because that's a perfect window. That's depth and strength, and then that's not going from just like squad players. That's starting 11 players. So I think that's 11 out of 10.
Technically, it's a ridiculous score, but when you give it the rationale, it makes complete sense. I know people asking about Costa. Yeah, I think there'll be other departures like Simicast will go, Elliot, all the players we mentioned, absolutely. But like you, if those things happen, and it's still a big 16 days or so, despite what's happened so far for Liverpool, if all those things happen, there hasn't really been a better window in our lifetime. You can, chop it up however you want, but to get that many positions, maybe, just maybe, it could end up being, as some people will suggest, you can have too much turnover, can't you, or too much chopping up. But just on the surface, I think it's absolutely brilliant. We will see, though. There's a long time there to talk. There's a long time to work through. And the next time we reconvene, the window will be shut. So we'll see how correct our predictions were. Well, it only leaves me to say two things. Mark, for leaving us in the lurch. We hope your business fails. But Jamesy, for giving us the time and making that available, it is appreciated, mate.
No problem at all. Thanks, Dave. I enjoyed that.
And ladies and gents, that was the first Red Alert of the season for Anfield Index.